As documented in these 2007 Board of Supervisor meetings, Mr. Boyd expressed reservations about the lack of more information on this commitment and the concern that would be continuing requests for more money and staff. Mr. Dory was also concerned with issues of cost. The county executive, Mr. Richard Tucker Jr., seemed to possess some scientific knowledge allowing him to claim, quote, that with the 2050 timetable, he does not think there is anything here that will be difficult for the county to attain. Maybe because by 2050, he and the rest of the Board of Supervisors will be long since out of office. Who knows? Mr. Slutsky assured the other board members, and this is particularly something I want you to remember perhaps. His quote, Mr. Slutsky says, quote, there is nothing obligatory in this resolution. It is just a statement of purpose. How benign, how innocent sounding. Board of Supervisor member Ms. Sally Thomas noted that, quote, Albemarle is regarded as a leader in its greenness, and it would be a shame not to indicate that, end of quote. So a green Disney World-like image apparently trumps the nuisance of scientific analysis. Emissions of CO2 are a source of essential plant food and account for the greenness of the plant life in our environment. Current Board of Supervisor member Dwayne Snow knows that by professional training. In the end, all Board of Supervisor members at the time voted for the 2007 resolution. Go in line if you wish. You can read the complete resolution with its dozen whereases and 3 declarations. Declaration number 3 includes urging Congress to raise car mileage standards. All right. The February, now we move on from December 2007 to February. The February 2008 executive summary, online, read it yourself, also contained a discussion heading titled Climate Change as a Critical Issue. The whole complex and unsettled science of climatology is presented simplistically in the space of a few sentences. County action is justified by reference to the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, and the Kyoto Protocol. The direct linkage between human CO2 production and significant climate change is slipped in as an assumption for which no scientific evidence is presented there. This is sham science. President Clinton, if you remember, never submitted the Kyoto Protocol for Senate ratification. In spite of official non-participation in Kyoto, the U.S. has reduced its emissions of CO2 8% below 2000 levels. But the rest of the world, what have they done? They have risen more than 25% since 2000. China in 2010 accounted for approximately 26% of global emissions, the U.S. about 15%. All right, here comes the inevitable. Yes, there has been global warming since the last ice age ended about 10,000 years ago. Yes, there has been global warming since the little ice age ended over 200 years ago. Yes, there has been global warming, global cooling, global climate change, global climate weirdness, global climate disruption, and global climate challenges ever since the origins of the Earth. We live on a planet in constant change. The ground beneath our feet is in motion. The recent tragic earthquakes in Japan, New Zealand, and Chile are graphic evidence. Can you imagine what our Ice Age relatives thought? Peeked out the cave and saw over a mile-high sheet of ice in front of them. Did they have a climate crisis? You bet they did. It was unique in their history. So we have in each age had unique challenges. However, what is unique now is that climate is big business, a new dogma, a new source for taxation, a source for university grant applications, a new tool for governmental control of you. Clean and green are now market-driven merchandising mottos used to sell you stuff. Just what is the definition of green? I don't know. Clean seems to mean anything not producing carbon dioxide. I hope that the true believers are all holding their collective breaths, not polluting our atmosphere by exhaling, because that's 4% CO2 right there. ICLEI makes its official appearance in the county records in February 2008. At this Board of Supervisors meeting, a strategic plan and proposed strategy are introduced, and here appears the statement. Here is the critical statement. Quote, Staff recommends that the county follow the milestones outlined in the International Council for Local Initiatives. By all of you know that is ICLEI now, right? So staff recommends the county join ICLEI. These local initiatives include a 5-milestone process which are consistent with the Cool Counties policies, end quote. The Cool Counties came about in December of 2007. All right, were these nebulous staff members environmental activists rather than impartial support staff? Who hired them? I don't know. Did the Board of Supervisors know? I don't know. Further in that report is a self-serving statement that, once again, it's good to be staff around here apparently. Staff recommends that the board approving staff, sort of self-referential, so the staff recommends the board approving staff moving forward with the implementation of a climate protection program, whatever that is. Anybody can tell me how you protect the climate and from what? I have no idea. Was any independent review ordered by the Board of Supervisors to evaluate the scientific and cost effectiveness of these staff conclusions and recommendations? How does one define the climate, protect the climate, and from what? The current ongoing multiple reviews of the present water reservoir issue may or not be excessive, but it shows that the independent technical review process is certainly known to the Board of Supervisors. Did they use it for the ICLEI involvement? I see no evidence of it, and I stand to be corrected. So what are these ICLEI mandated 5 milestones to which the Board of Supervisors committed you and the county? They are: 1, conduct a baseline emissions inventory. 2, set a target for greenhouse gas reduction. 3, establish a local action plan. 4, implement the local action plan. 5, assess, report, and modify the local action plan. Examples of climate protection efforts are given as land use planning, transportation planning, energy efficiency, green power, green building, recycling, and education. Note that land use was the first of their chosen words. What about cost? The same staff documented the need of an additional full-time employee, cost to be determined. The county continues to pay ICLEI $1,200 a year for membership. For this modest price, ICLEI and its activist agenda is given a voice in your local government, both directly and behind the scenes. The $1,200 per year is not the only county cost. There are staff costs and policy-driven costs as well, which probably far exceed the trivial $1,200. I wonder, if anybody here can tell me, is staff going to the ICLEI conference at the Virginia Military Institute next month? If so, at what county or city cost?